Alright lads, this is just to help you with the first task of making a timeline on PowerPoint. So with this, what you're going to do is you're going to insert some smart art. Okay, we're going to go to this process one, and I reckon probably the most straightforward one would be something like this. Alright, here it comes up here. What we're going to do with this is we're going to make the text a lot smaller. I might make it like that. Okay, going to give it a title, which is related to the first question. See, here's cool, and we're going to go to that web page, which is this one here. So, with this web page, as I said on the instructions, every time you see a date, I want you to use that date and a little description about what it refers to, and put that into the into your timeline along with the picture. So here's our first date we come across. All right, and it's related to the idea that there's people of this ancient period, 50 to 25,000 years ago. Sorry, that's, I mean, if you think about it, we're 2,000 years after Christ. Okay, and so that would be 52,000 sort of thing. But roughly, it's always they're around the numbers. So 50 to 25,000 years ago, there was this time they called it the Old Stone Age, where these peoples had pretty basic sort of subsistence living, very sustainable living. Hunting and foraging, that sort of thing is how they lived basically. They had really simple rafts back then, and they went from Asia through Southeast Asia and into what's kind of today modern day Papua New Guinea, and Australia. So this idea of eventually reaching Australia, like I think this is potentially where the Aboriginals came from. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know too much about Aboriginal history, but it's pretty cool. They're like the oldest civilization almost, I think, that are still around, which is pretty cool. Right, anyway, back to this. Sorry. So we're going to copy this date in. Okay, we're going to put in here the world, that's right. Okay, that's our date. We can shrink this thing here so there's some room around the outside. This here doesn't need to be so big, because we're not going to be presenting this as such. And you're going to add this text box, okay, and check my info. Right, ancient voyaging, we'll copy that bit. Cool. Ancient voyage from Asia to the ocean. Okay, so this is the migration of people, Old Stone Age people from Asia through to what we call it, today's Melanesia, and it would be that far the western side of Melanesia. Okay, if you think the eastern side is Fiji, west would be the other way, which is towards the Solomons and PNG. Migration of Old Stone Age people from Asia through to Melanesia. And we're talking about New Guinea. I think that's how you spell New Guinea. Guiene. Cool. Alright, sweet. Go through. The Stone Age is fine. Right, sweet. So that's enough of a little description as to what this date means. The next thing we have to do is put in an image. Alright, there's no real images on here that you're going to be able to use, so typed into this, ancient Pacific peoples, 50,000 BC, and that's looking pretty old. Yep, this is quite cool. So it's up to you, but what images you put in there, but make them, reflect the text that you've written. Cool. All right. Then you've got that underneath it. There. If you like, you might be able to put that in here. Touch around with it if you want. It's up to you. Now, when you get to the end here, if you need to put more arrows in, you can select the actual box itself, and then I'm pretty sure it's up here, Smart Art Design, and you've got Add Shape. All right, and you can just keep adding shapes to it all the way along, and then but when you do that, you might end up having to shrink your information so that it fits within there. All right, cool. Now, as much as possible, you will be obviously doing a little bit of cutting and pasting and that sort of thing to put into here, but try and try and use your own words along the way so it makes sense to you as to what you're writing, and you actually learn by doing stuff that way. Okay. Sweet. Cool.